This conference will now be recorded.
So, any questions on yesterday's topic, guys?
No.
Karthik or Mohan?
No, Sriram. Yesterday we did not practice it. I think.
Okay, so
Let's see.
you're
We will come
practicing
back
it
to
on
you
a
in this
daily
session.
basis.
Sorry.
You're practicing it on a daily basis, huh?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, if not, it is not going inside our brains. It's too much to.
That's complex CWM here. What to do so much of configurations and all. Okay, so shall I proceed with the new topic then?
Yes.
Okay. So this particular topic, whatever we are trying to talk about, discuss today is, okay, it's about the value added services, guys. Like it's also the kind of how would you say that thing like we will be discussing here, but ideally this is one of the process. Okay.
Yeah.
Like what? I'm sorry.
Yes. Is it the same thing of value added service in AFS?
AFS means means what exactly? I didn't AFS in the sense.
AFS footwear
It's
application.
apparel footwear. I know that. Like what exactly we try to do there, because I don't know what exactly you're trying to mention there.
It is like value added service. I mean like the ticketing, labeling, and any other
Yes.
service. Is it the
Yeah.
same? Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I have the air condition on. I turn it off.
Yeah. Or not only here ticketing and labeling, but also we have other things as well. Okay, but which I'm not sure whether we will be doing that in AFS there. Okay, now what exactly we try to do is a value added services in the sense it is a kind of additional activity basically, not what do you say that is we will be trying to do it. It's a kind of an additional activity which we will be trying to perform for that product. Any kind of activities like what we try to do is here the mainly this value added services comes into the picture. Okay, whenever we try to add some kind of a value addition, whether it could be your normal products like such as your labeling or your packing or your kitting, and if you would like to add some kind of a value addition such as in your food processing industries, we will like in one of the client what we have done is we will be adding some kind of preservatives to stay for a longer time, the product to make it for a longer time. Okay, like when we see this manufacturing of the hot dogs, normally what happens is to stay for it for a longer time, we will be adding some kind of a preservatives to make the product, to extend the life of the product, right? So these kind of activities, whatever we are trying to see here, basically that we'll call it as, sorry, that we'll call it as a VAS here, guys. You're getting my point? Hello?
Yes.
Any questions now? Like labeling or a packing in the sense, why again I'm talking about here now. In case of your automobile industries, normally we try to add some kind of a lubrications, whether you perform this in the put away. And one more thing, this is also a part of the POSC process case, okay, where we would be having an external step, such as like in deconsolidation, we have seen the step of an IB02. The same way, this we will try to see it as an external step as VS01. So ideally, we cannot mix up the activity with deconsolidation and the VAS together here. So VAS is a different process and deconsolidation is a different process altogether. So that's the reason we try to have this both the things in two different steps. So Decon in a different process like IB02 and the VAS in a different process like VS01. So on top of that, if you remember this deconsolidation process, whatever we are trying to see, we will try to have that in both the scenarios, like where we'll try to have this for your inbound and for your outbound, and as well as for your internal operations. Means the products whatever we are trying to perform, whether you can perform this vast activity, means the labeling or your packing in the sense based on your customer specifications, we would be having a different packing again. And the kitting can be happening here because we have a different scenarios, again kit to stock and kit to order and as well as reverse kitting, so all these things normally. So we can have this either in the inbound, if not, we can even have this in the outbound also, and as well as in the internal operations. So internal operations in the sense, that's what I said, the kitting. Now, what is this kitting? Any idea?
Generally, kitting is something like when we, when we deliver, put away or removal of stock, we do sort of packing sort, wherein an external vendor would get the material of pack, wherein we assemble it in our warehouse and we would be sending to customers or vendors, receiving from vendor. Is it correct?
Means basically what we try to do, yeah, kind of um, like example, if you say that this kitting will comes into the picture in different scenarios normally. Okay, internal operations, or maybe in your production order, maybe with the respect to your VAS or whatever it could be, you'll have this in the multiple things. Now, when I'm trying to have this kitting in the sense, example, this basically works with the BOM. Normally, we know what is a BOM here, right? So, whenever a customer orders any kind of a brake kit or something, normally what happens, you'll have the components separately, right? Like whenever you order a computer, it's not only a computer you're getting it, right? You will be getting it with your keyboard and your with all your mouse and everything, right? Normally. So all the other things whatever we have, that we'll call it as a components there, right? So we will try to assemble this and then we will try to ship it to the respective customers. So even the kitting has a different scenario. That's what I said: kit to order and kit to stock, and as well as the reverse kitting. Means kit to stock in the sense that will be with the help of your production order or with the help of the pack spec again, where we will perform the put away there. Reverse kitting in the sense, the for the existing BOM we will separate it. Like we will separate the components and we will sell the components separately. If you think that this BOM is no more required, we'll be doing it. So all these operations, whatever we try to do here, this will treat it as a VAS. Okay. And coming to the packing in the sense, packing could be based on our customer specifications, whether it could be an inbound or whatever, it could be an outbound. Maybe an example we can take, like if your vendor is selling you some products of 100 products in a pallet, but your storage bin can accommodate only a 20, or maybe you're not more than 40 based on the bin types and based upon your handling unit types. Your storage bin can't accommodate more than that, and you want to create more handling units. So then that point of time, using the master data such as your packaging specifications, we can even trigger the automatic handling units also using this particular value added services. Okay, so these are all the things which comes into this picture when we were using this VAS. Okay, any questions now?
Sorry. This is correct. I just want to understand how different BOM and value added service. You're saying as if like BOM itself will have an VAS, right? VAS, value
You
added
say that
service. Like,
BOM will have a VAS.
okay.
BOM is the one where we'll be having the components, and this will be used in the kitting scenarios I've said. Okay. So
Okay.
assembling of the kits and all, normally what happens, you'll be having What is the significance of a BOM normally?
It will have at least like components which will be determined automatically.
You'll be having a header material, and obviously for that header material, you'll be having the like the respective components for that, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So here the kitting will comes into the picture. What we do is normally a kitting in the sense we will try to assemble or we will try to have 2 or more products normally, and then we will try to perform it. That is the case when you're trying to do a kit to order normally. I said that. Okay. So any kind of such internal operations will comes even under the VAS activity. I'm trying to say that.
So VAS is nothing but activities which are performed based on our business scenario.
Activities which are performed and where we are trying to add the value addition to a particular product, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So in terms of whether it could be a labeling or whether it could be your packing or whether it could be your assembling of your kits or whether it could be anything. So where you're trying to add some value addition to the existing product. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That will call it as a VAS.
Yes, just to ask you a question, Sriram.
Mm.
All this activity will happen inside the warehouse. That's what you mean, is that right?
Yes, obviously, right? Because before
Yeah.
you ship it to your customers or before you perform any or put away, you try to have this particular activity, a value
Okay.
addition. Okay.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
that would be even, it's not for all the products in your warehouse, we will perform this activity, right? It is only to some certain products only we will try to perform this. Agree?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So it's not like for every product in your warehouse we'll perform the VAS. Only to some XYZ products from where we are receiving it from a particular vendor or from where you're trying to have it. Only for that only you try to have this. The rest you don't have this VAS activities. It could be a normal activities only. Okay, it could be a direct put away or it could be a normal handling units where you perform it, because a warehouse will be having a multiple products, right? It's not only a 1 or 2 products where you will be having it there. I agree. Hello.
Yes.
Okay then. So now this particular VAS, as I said that it is, we will be having an external step for this as well. And this particular external step, whatever we are trying to have here, that we'll call it as a VS01. Okay, that's the step. Now here for performing the VAS activity, there was one other thing called as a VAS order. Normally when you see that when we compare with the deconsolidation process, we never saw this decon order or something, right? We never saw that basically. But in the VAS one, we try to have such something like called as a VAS order, guys. Hello.
Yes.
Means what I can say that is this is a order which will be determined by using your master data, whatever we configure. So we will try to have 2 different things. I mean, like the VAS order can be determined automatically, or if not, it can be determined manually also. However, this particular VAS order will be helping us in order to determine, like, will be determining, and it will be telling us what kind of an activity that we need to perform in a specific work center, basically. So that will be directed through via a VAS order. So this order will tell us what kind of an activity would be required for us. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, now if you can remember that yesterday we have defined something called as a storage process, maybe day before or whatever. And during the process of the deconsolidation, we have defined a process called as a storage process. Do you remember that?
Yes, yes.
So
Storage process.
yeah, okay. Where did we assign the storage process normally?
In stock type.
In warehouse process type, guys. Remember that, okay? So the particular storage process, whatever we have defined it with the steps of IB01, IB02, and IB03, if I'm not wrong, right? For the deconsolidation one.
Yes, yes.
Normally. Now for that same particular activity, what we are trying to do is we are trying to add another step and making it much more complex in such a way that the products, whatever we receive in our warehouse, we will try to have the first unloading, and the second we will try to have the deconsolidation, and then we will try to perform the value added services, and then we'll perform the put away. The same products, whatever we have defined, we will try to have it normally. Making clear now? Is that clear to everyone?
It's
So
clear.
what? Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is, I mean, like normally we do not have such kind of scenarios in the real time, but I am trying to make it more complex and trying to give it an overview that for the same products we can, which means that we can have the decon and as well as the VAS also, because we are distinguishing the steps here. Like IB02 is for that one and BS01 is for that one. First thing, okay. Now, if you can remember that as being this VS01 is additionally another step which we are trying to configure. Means what does that mean? We will try to have a specific layout, I mean like a specific work center for that again, as being these both the activities are separate basically. Okay, so we will try to have a separate work center for that. So again, that particular work center, whatever we are trying to have, that we'll call it as an 8050. Now, if you remember the deconsolidation work center, the standard storage type, whatever we have defined, it is with 8010. But this one, we will try to have this with 8050, guys. You're getting my point? Hello?
Can you repeat it? 8010 is a standard for
Storage
deconsolidation.
type, what is the storage type for the deconsolidation we have defined?
Yes.
8010.
8010. And what is the work center we have defined? That's DEKO.
90.
That's a
D.
work center, DEKO.
Yeah.
9030, 9010 always stands with the staging areas, which we'll call it as an interim areas in WM. But in EWM, that we'll call it as a staging areas, or it could be your doors or whatever. That number, that series will always starts with 9. Remember that. Work center series always starts with 8, and the storage type role would be E always. These are all the certification questions, guys. Just remember that, okay? Which is very important. The standard storage type will always have a role with a blank, okay? So always you need to remember this at any cost. We'll be having 12 entries, A to K. So A stands for other thing, K stands for something, and I stands for your staging areas. And we each and everything has its own significance, guys. Please remember that. Okay. Now, this particular VAS. Now, there could be a scenarios and even as well, guys, where we can have a VAS can be performed in a multiple steps also. Means an example I can tell you here is maybe okay, a product whatever we are trying to have, we can have the same activity. Means in one of the workstation you can have your packing and all these activities. Maybe we can take an automobile industries if you want, where you can see that in some of the workstations you will be having the lubrication will be performing in one workstation, and in the second workstation you will be having the labeling and you will be having the packing, right? So in that point of time you're having two different workstations. Agree, guys? So depending upon your business, you will be having two workstations or three workstations or whatever it could be, depends upon your particular scenarios. So then that point of time you will be having two different steps also. That's what I mean to say in this particular statement. VS01 V sorry, VS02 and VS03 means to say that in my particular scenario, a VAS activity can be performed in three different steps. That's the reason we are trying to have the VAS over here. So it could be in even in one single step, or it could be in a multiple steps, which means that a particular product has to undergo that many scenarios. I mean, like it could be a lubrication in one work center, packing in a different work center, and after that you have the labeling and all in a different work center. So based on that, you can segregate and you can create the multiple steps for a particular things, and you'll be doing it. Okay, guys. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is all depending upon your business, how you want to define the VAS and all. Okay, fine. Now, when it comes to this other thing, where is this one? I mean, like the configuration steps, basically, what we require to have this particular configuration. Now, as I said earlier, even this particular VAS activity, we will not perform it for all the products in your warehouse. Just remember that it's only for the few of the products in your warehouse. Now, in order to identify such few products in your warehouse, we have a concept called as a product group, basically. So this product group will help in order to identify, to differentiate it from the normal products, basically. This product group is not only used in this particular VAS, we will be seeing this even in the cross-talking and in other different scenarios also. So in order to distinguish this from a different normal products, we will have some kind of an identification, which we'll call it as a product groups, basically. And we need to assign this at a warehouse level and as well as this one. Okay, and now when I'm talking about at a warehouse level, in the sense, we have to tell to the system that my particular, what is my inbound document types now, guys?
B,
V-Ray.
I'm sorry.
INB
INB.
document type.
Yes, INB. So we will tell to the system that if my document type is INB and if I am having this particular product group, I would like to have this particular value added services to be triggered. Okay, so we will try to have that particular things in the system. Now we will try to have this in the what is the normal T code for your MAT1? I mean, like for the product master, guys. I'm just trying to tell you that.
SCWM/MAT1, right?
Yes, but in order to make sure that this particular product master's identification or whatever, we will normally maintain this in the APO MAT1 transaction, okay, where we can't maintain it in the normal EWM MAT1, okay. That's one thing what we have here, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. And apart from that, we are having a storage process, whatever we have created. To that particular storage process, we will try to add the steps. Okay.
Fine.
Sriram, all this VAS should be before put away. Can't be it after put away. Like for example,
Oh,
kitting. Like for example, kitting.
that's what I
You
said,
know.
right? Kitting will be used in the internal operation. See, after once you have done your put away, you
Okay, okay.
can't perform anything. It's no more. It's not. I mean, like, it's not a valid thing that you remove from the products, because if you want to remove from your bins again, you have to perform a manual activity again internally, and then you have to move it. So before the put away only, we will try to do it. If not, you perform this completely in your outbound again, or if not, you manually move the products to your bins and then you perform there. But it can't be once you have done your put away, means the put away has been done. Maybe if you want to perform any as such operations, you manually move it and then you perform it. It's not that you can't put away, you can do that, but ideally either before the put away or after the put away you can do that. Okay,
Okay.
but deconsolidation you can't perform after the put away. Okay.
Okay, Sriram.
Yeah, because deconsolidation is a process that you will be doing it before you do the putaways only. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So after the putaway, in the sense, you can have a scenario such as your kitting and all these things that comes into the picture normally.
Okay, Sriram. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Now we have another thing which we will be talking it as, okay, yeah, sorry. We have already discussed about the products which are relevant for the VAS, and we already telling to that. Okay. how does the warehouse task to be triggered for us? So this particular warehouse task, we are trying to trigger this automatically or manually, whatever it is, we will try to do that. So as I said that the VAS storage type will be the 8050, which is for your work center, guys. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, and we will be having a work center the same way like whatever we have defined in the deconsolidation one. That's one thing. And this is what the first step of configuration which will be required basically. And in the second step, we will have something called as a master data, which we'll be trying to talk about your packaging specifications normally. But this we will discuss in tomorrow's session. Now, as of now, I'll try to configure whatever we have seen now in the system. The rest tomorrow, I'll talk about the pack specs. This is another master data, which I'll talk about in tomorrow's session. Okay. So the very first thing is I will try to add the value added step in my storage process. Okay, cross process settings, warehouse task, find process oriented storage control. So what is my storage process here, guys? WM46. What did I define? 46 WM. What did we define yesterday?
Yes, 46.
46 W. ZDAC
ZDC
or ZW.
Sure. Is this the one we have used?
Yeah, ZDC.
ZDAC only.
Okay, then fine. So what I'll do is so here IB01, second thing is IB02, and then I'll add a value added services which is VS01, and then I'll add my IB03 also, guys. So what does that mean now? This is one stupid thing always happens. Though I save this activity, it will not save. Let me come out. Okay. So I would like to have an auto warehouse task for all these things. So IB03, you think that I need to have that? What is this one?
We don't need it.
Yeah, ideally we do not require it. Why? Because IB03 is my final step. Okay, so we have added our external step in the existing storage process, whatever we have. Okay, now the very first thing is, as I said, that we have to define the product groups. So in order to define your product groups, we normally will be going to this particular transaction of SCM basis. Okay, and here we'll be talking about your master data product groups. Okay, define product group types. So normally what I'll do is I'll take one product group type as 46 WM and define the product groups also. Okay, Now, this particular product group, as I said, that we'll be assigning it in the product master, but normally not at the transaction of an mat1. This is at APO / mat1. Okay. So my products are DEC1. Agree? So in the properties tab here, if you see this, what is my product group? Right? Hello?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to assign my particular product group for both the products, guys. Okay. This is for the DEC1 and the other one is DEC2. Okay. However, now we need to make sure this particular thing, whatever we try to have, we'll be having it, assigning it at warehouse levels. Okay. Value added services. First thing, here we have something called as a VAS order. As I said earlier, even we will be having a VAS order to be triggered automatically. Always remember that. Okay. So in order to have this particular VAS order in place, we will define this. And now we have to define the number ranges for that. Okay. So this is the number range what we already configured at the time of creating your warehouse tasks and warehouse orders. Okay. Define relevance for the VAS. Now WM46, what is my document type here now? WM46, PDI, INB and IDLB. Agree? Header is INB and item is IDLB, which we have already seen that. Right? Now, if you see this, to this particular thing, what is my procedure here? It's OVSI. Just remember this. Tomorrow we will discuss on this particular packaging specification procedure, which comes under the master data, which we'll be discussing that tomorrow anyhow. So here, if you see this, how you want the VAS orders to be triggered. So this particular VAS orders, whatever you're trying to trigger here, we will try to have a VAS order. Like what is this here? You see that do not create automatically means you do not want to have your VAS orders to be triggered automatically, or you want to create it manually. That depends again. Now create when creating a warehouse request or an item, or create at the first time of a GR posting. What is this difference? Both the things. Tell me, guys.
Either recreated when you receive the product or in your warehouse. That means right. That, when you do that means the first step you are receiving the product, or after receiving the product you do everything in the warehouse itself. Is that right? Maybe something like this.
I felt like it was GI and GR process.
Okay.
Yes, when in the step of the GR, the second one is the step of the GR. The second one in the warehouse.
When we can have the GR actually. Normally means, I mean, like GR can happen normally at what time? I mean, that's what I mean to say that here.
After confirmation of warehouse order.
And if not, yeah, that's what. It's not only at the time of confirmation of your warehouse order. Normally, also you can perform your GR, right? So first you perform the GR. I mean, like once you perform your GR, you can perform your put away, right?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, you receive. Can
you repeat it?
I mean, like normally, when can we have this particular scenario? Like create at first goods received posting means once you done your goods received, then only you want your VAS orders to be triggered automatically, or as soon as you try to create a warehouse request, then you want to have your VAS orders to be triggered automatically. So that's what the significance here is. Warehouse request in the sense what we are trying to do. We are trying to perform a kind of a different activity here. You're getting that? Hello.
Okay. So,
You got my
I
point?
mean, yeah, Sriram, what I understand is it can be done after the warehouse request and after the goods receipt. Okay, but
It can be done
if
at
it
both
does,
the. Tell me.
if they have provided for goods receipt, why they didn't provide it for goods issue?
Goods issue in the sense what exactly that refers to? Means you're
I
sending
mean,
out the
yeah.
products from your warehouse, right?
The thing is like when we are performing a PGI, even
Uh,
at that time also we can perform this value added services, right?
no.
Like
One second.
based in the way bill.
Okay, one second. That's a different thing that you can do it at the staging area also, right? That's only just you adding some label to that. That's it. For that, you would think that you specifically need a work center and you will be doing it, which is not required that. Once
Okay.
you're performing the goods issue means it's almost done. You've completed all your warehouse activities there, right? And what else you will be performing there again? Means you're
Mm,
already at some staging area and you're about to ship your products out, right? Means you're
okay.
completely done. Your products are completely packed and your products are completely done there. So I don't think you will be doing any such activity again there, right? Before you perform the goods issue only, you will try to have some kind of anything.
Okay. Fine. I mean, I am thinking about a scenario wherein if a customer want a specific packing instructions or packing
Okay,
materials.
that's what, yeah. A specific packing in the sense, that's what I said, right? You can even perform this either at the before you move it to the staging area, right? Because once you
Yes.
move to your staging area and about you load your products, you mean to say that you want to perform there.
I mean, general scenarios, it will be the same, right? Once the product brought it
At
from
that point
warehouse.
of time, you do not require the VAS in between. And what you can do is you can perform the staging area as your work center then. In that case, you can do that. But in this case, what we are trying to do is we are trying to trigger a VAS and we are trying to create a order for that specifically, and then we are trying to do it. But in your case, a staging area can be referred as a work center also, which we can do
Yes.
that here. Okay,
Yes.
that is
Okay.
completely different then. For that, you no need to. What I mean to say that is,
Uh,
you do not require all these things, which I mean to say normally.
yeah. You can do it in the staging area as only.
Exactly. So you
Why do
can
you
do it.
require an additional step?
Yeah, that is not required again. So you have a role. I'll show you that. Okay. Hello.
Yes, Sriram. Okay.
Okay. So now we will try to have it whenever we're trying to have it at a warehouse request at the item level. First thing. Okay. Now, warehouse dependent VAS settings. From my warehouse WM46, whatever I'm trying to have here, I already have 01 as my number range, and my product group is what? 46, right? And the other one is 46. Fine. Now, what is a stock type of an F2? Why are we using a stock type of an F2 in an inbound? What is a normal stock type, guys?
F1 or F2? We are F2 because we are in the warehouse. Is that right?
No, right? Normally, in an inbound, we always discuss about F1 only, right? Why do you want to discuss about an F2 here? In what case this is coming into the picture?
That means this product is belong to the warehouse. F1
This is a kind of a stock type which will be using it only for your uh, auxiliary packing materials. Okay, so if you remember that there are multiple packing materials which I have discussed, if you can remember that. Okay, one could be your F1 and the other one, sorry, I didn't discuss about that. So auxiliary packing materials, as I said that earlier, we will be using this for a specific kind of materials where additionally you perform some kind of an activity. Means what I mean to say that is we will be having like for the main products we will try to perform like any kind of an what do you say that is for supporting the main packing materials, we will try to have this auxiliary one. Like as I said earlier, whenever you try to purchase any kind of a product, we'll have a bubble wrap or you'll be having a hard thermocol whenever you purchase a TV and all. You're getting me? So that kind of things, whatever we see here normally, That is an auxiliary. So we are telling to the system that if in case if I would like to have the stock type for my auxiliary packing materials, then the stock type would be an F2 there. Okay, that was the one which I was referring there. Clear, guys? Hello.
Yes. Can you come back again, please? Can you repeat what you said?
What is an auxiliary packing material? I've already discussed this at the time of the handling units. Hope you remember that. So for that particular stock type, the auxiliary packing material stock type is an F2 stock type, which I was trying to mention down here. That's it.
Yeah, okay, perfect. No issue.
Now, apart from that, what we try to have is we try to create one storage types also, right? So that is one thing we have. 76. Is that you, Karthik?
Yes, Sridham. Can you knock off me because I already closed it.
What is this user? S4 or SM? S4 AWM user 76. Okay. So you asked me about the labeling one, right? So if you see that, I work center in the staging areas one, Karthik, which is the one you can make use of it. If you don't want to have an additional step and all, you can use this as I and you can make use of it. Okay.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah. And now WM468050. This is one which is for the value added services. Okay. And we will be having the work center role of an E and a HU requirement for that. As that's one thing. And the other thing is we will try to define the work center. Define work center. Okay. Okay, we'll make use of this. So here, what was my external step? VS01 and 8050, right? And this particular 8050 is your storage type of your work center, which we are determining it. Now, what we try to do here, I'll try to create one storage type. What is that? 8050. Okay. So which we have done it. And the other step is we will be assigning it at my easy access level. Where? Master data. Where is that one? Where did we assign? Where is this work center? 1 sec. So what is your work center here? VAS one. This is the one which we are trying to define, right? First thing. Okay. This is the one thing which we will try to define it. Okay. And apart from that, the other settings which are already in place, so we don't require anything. So basically what we will try to do is we will try to have the value added services one, guys. I mean, like the master data, like the packaging specifications and all, which we will try to define it in tomorrow's session, and then we'll configure this basically. Okay. Hello.
Yes, okay, Sridhar.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So tomorrow we'll complete this particular packaging specifications, and then we will see how the scenario works in the system, guys. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, then, guys. Okay. Let's catch
Thank
up
you.
tomorrow.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye bye.